All right, everybody, it is the top of the hour. This is Adam Peterson here with DCI. Thank you guys so much for hopping on today's training. We have a guest speaker with us. We have Jaime White from Likewize. Today, we're going to talk about increasing attachables. And the number one attachable that we all love is device protection. And if you haven't heard, you can now add device protection on BYOD. So we want to make sure that you guys are fully aware of how to add device protection on BYOD, as well as your new activations. Let's see some record-setting levels when it comes to device attach rate, as we're looking at not just new, not just our upgrades, but our BYOD. In other words, every single customer getting a phone from your store should always have that device protected. So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk a little bit about autopay and all the attachable options that you guys have for your customers today. So we want to drive those metrics and do what we can to help make that cash money go into your guys' pockets. So we're going to give you some of those best practices today. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me know when you guys can see it.
We've got you.
All right. All right, Jaime, and if you are there, I will go ahead and hand it over to you, and you can take it away. Let's start with BYOD with Boost Protect.
All right, well, I'm going to give you some Boost Protect with BYOD reminders. So you're going to have the phone in your hand. So the first thing you want to do is to make sure as you're going through the activation process is that there's no damage, no cracks, no signs of water damage. Check the cameras. Make sure that all the buttons are functional, just because if they're a little bit sticky, that just indicates water damage. You also want to make sure that you're talking with the customer. Don't offer Boost Protect right at that time, and I'll tell you why in a second, but we just want to make sure that all of those things are functioning. Quick reminder about it is it's only available at the time of purchase. Now, as you know, as far as the DCI phones, you have up to 30 days for the customer to add it just because it comes from there. But when it comes to the BYOD side, it's only eligible at that time of purchase. There is no waiting period to file a claim. So if they were to get device protection on that BYOD and break it tomorrow, they're able to file a claim tomorrow. One of the biggest things, and this is why you want to wait to talk to a customer, is if you do have an Apple device, and you can go on to the next screen. Apple doesn't necessarily cover all the devices. They will cover iPhone 13s and newer. It doesn't mean that they're going to cover all those iPhone 13s or newer, just because I can see a plethora of many things on the background. One of them being, for instance, battery life. So if that battery life is under 80%, they will not cover it. Now, that's just one example. But what you want to wait to talk to them about Boost Protect is because of that. You want to see if they're even eligible for AppleCare. And if they're not, let's just say they do have an iPhone 14 and all you see is Boost Protect during the sales flow, that just means that Likewize is covering that device fully. So this is one of the best practices that I've seen while being in the stores. Generally speaking, when I'm talking to customers or I'm talking to dealers, they say most of our customers are coming in to get that $25 plan. Now, as you can see on here, we have different tiers, we have the different plans, but let's just say that customer wanted the $25 plan and they did have an iPhone. That would actually be a $37 plan. So one of the best ways I've seen it positioned is as you're talking to that customer, you can say, hey, I can get you in a plan for $37 a month with protection included. And then that usually sparks the customer with the customer protection. What does that mean? And then at the time you can tell the customer, hey, this comes with, lost, stolen, if you get it lost, stolen, or water damage, screen repair, $29 screen repair. This is the best time to start positioning it that way so the customer can see the benefits. And obviously, if it is an iPhone and they do have AppleCare, then you can start talking about the benefits of AppleCare. What we don't want to do is start talking about AppleCare prior to not knowing if that customer is eligible for it. That's why I just say, just kind of hold off and make sure you're in the right tier, the tier amount, and you do know if they have the option for AppleCare with that. But overall, just talk about the benefits. I think one of the biggest benefits of us is a $29 screen repair. But you can go on to the next slide. Now, one of the things with Boost Protect and BYODs is if the customer is upgrading, Boost does not necessarily consider that a true upgrade. They consider it a SIM swap, and therefore it's not eligible for Boost Protect. Now, for these customers, open enrollment is something that is going to be coming soon. It's coming in July sometime. So what does that mean? We can start setting up these customers who may want that. A lot of times they're coming in with a very high-end device. Just start talking to them about that for that, whatever month it is. Let's just say it's going to be in July, and we don't have the date yet, but we know it's coming soon. So for that full month of July, customers who are currently with Boost will have the opportunity to add Boost Protect at that time. So you can start talking to them about that. If this is something that they really want, this is coming soon. More details to come. You can go to the next slide. So something just to help sales is this is just a raffle. If you can scan it with your phone, you can keep it on there. But we are giving away tons of gift cards. We have Amazon gift cards, DoorDash gift cards. So what this is for every BYOD with Boost Protect ad that you get, it really takes, honestly, it's less than a minute to fill out. You just put in the customer's phone number, your number, and you'll be entered into a raffle. I'm actually doing a drawing today, and gift cards will be going out, but you just get an entry in there, and obviously the more entries you have, the more chances to win. But this is just a quick tool just to help, motivate some of our reps to go ahead and sell that. But you can go to the next slide. So this is just a good best practice to remember is during the activation process, when you're getting the phone Boost ready, and this is just in general across the board, whether it's a BYD or not, when you're getting that phone Boost ready, to make sure that you're turning on Find My iPhone. And if it is an Android, that you're downloading Google Hub and getting that feature turned on. And the reason being is that eventually, with the Android side, as far as Google Hub, is that we're going to require the customer to be able to put that in lost mode. We're already doing this for Apple devices. If you're not aware, if they cannot put that device in lost mode and they do file a claim for lost or stolen, we will not be able to complete the claim. And this has been going on, I believe, since like the end of February. It's something that Apple has done for a very, very long time. So that is one of our partners. So we have started that process with us, but coming soon, probably within the next 6 months, it's going to be the same way on the Android side. So how does it benefit the customer is that they're able to track their device. They're able to wipe any information or lock it if it does get lost. Obviously, it's going to, if they can find it, they won't have a deductible for that phone. So it's a good tool, and they won't have the headache, of, possibly losing information. So I think all around it's a good tool. Plus on our side, it stops prevention from fraud taking place. So this is just something that's coming soon. So just a best practice to remember, you might as well go ahead and start doing it now on the Android side as well. But you can go to the next slide. Now, premium savers. So this is something that it's like a retention method. So one of the biggest things is that some of our customers may be facing now is, hey, they may not be able to afford that $8, $12, or $15 tier. So something that is available is we have limited coverage plans. It's not available on the on your level, but everyone still has to be activated full coverage if you look at it that way, but they can call Boost Care and have it lowered. Now, I know in all transparency, sometimes calling Boost Care can be very frustrating, and they may not see the offers to downgrade them. So something that Boost is working on, just so you guys are aware, is that they are working on getting the limited coverage available on the Boost, if they were to log on to their own Boost mobile account, instead of having the option to remove it, that they'll have the option to downgrade it and have those options available. So Boost is actively working on this. They're also actively working on, because some of the Boost Care agents, I don't believe are trained on this, because sometimes I hear it's a smooth process, and sometimes I hear that they say that it's not available. So they are working on that too, just so you understand on the background what's going on, to be able to offer them these methods, to be able to downgrade for the customers who may not be able to afford this. So it's something that we're moving towards, and just so you guys are aware of what's happening, I think it's overall it's a good thing. Having Boost Protect is definitely helps with retention and keeping our customers with Boost. If you can go down to the next slide. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Any questions surrounding BYOD on Boost Protect from anyone on the group? Now is your time to ask. Going once.
Okay, I got one good question.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, so in specifics to the process for the qualifications to determine whether or not coverage can be put on the BYOD, it's physically just by looking at the phone and stuff like that and determining that everything is functional. Application process, much like with our trade-in.
No, it's not as extensive as the trade-in, just so you're aware. It's just basically an honor system. Just check over the phone. You know, if it has cosmetic damage, we don't cover cosmetic damage. So if there's some buffs on there, that's not necessarily something that we care about because we don't cover cosmetic issues. So the biggest thing is just, you know, just look it over. Like you can tell if the phone is cracked, if the camera's, you know, cracked, or if you see water damage. If you can't see it, that, you know, any of that, and keep in mind you're going to have the phone in hand activating it anyway, so you'll be able to tell if the buttons are sticky or any of that. Another thing that I get from dealers is probably one of the number one questions is, am I going to get a chargeback? No, you will not get a chargeback. There's no way we would do that. Just don't worry about that at all. We just ask that it's not, you know, damaged, and it's just, don't read too much into it. I just know from the conversations I had from the buyback program of worrying, are you gonna get the credit, you know, if something happens during, you know, mailing it in. It's just from what I'm hearing, it's just not possible. And also keep in mind, we used to do this before. You know, we used to cover BYODs as well. So none of this happened before. This is something that's not, it's not new to us. It's just now with the Boost system and getting it ready took a process to get here. And the way that our side looks at it is we're still going to be okay. Yeah, there may be some fraud here and there, but we're still going to be in the green. And that's just how they look at it, just as a business as a whole. So if any of you guys were wondering that too, I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, what I specifically do is I'll make sure that the camera can actually take a picture. I look at the screen, I look at the back, make sure I look at the charging port and just kind of make sure that it determines, and then I can go ahead and put it on there.
That's good. Yes.
Very good. And Jamie, one thing that you said too that was a little bit of an eye opener for me is, I know that with new activations, when you add device protection, that the customer can't make a claim till after 30 days, correct? But on BYOD, you're saying if they had device protection when they say they do an upgrade and they add a line with that BYOD, they can make a claim that very next day on that BYOD phone and it would be honored. Is that correct?
Yes. And with new activations, just in general, it's like if it was a phone from like you guys sent to the dealer, they have up to 30 days to add protection. But with BYODs, they only have it at the point of activation.
Yeah, and a little technicality on that. So yes, they technically have up to 30 days to add the activation, but for the dealers to get credit on the scorecard, it does need to be at point of sale. If the customer comes back the next day and adds it, it is not going to go on your guys' scorecard. All right, any other questions for Jamie before we move on? Anything else on the BYOD device protection? All right, we will keep it moving then.
Question.
Yep, go ahead.
So that last question then would be a no, right? I think somebody misunderstood it when they asked the question. It was that we can only add the insurance the first day, not make a claim the first day, right? Let's say, because I didn't really hear an answer to the question.
No, you can only add it at the point of activation, but let's just say they damaged it. So the only difference is, keep in mind that Boost and Likewize, we're not connected. Our systems aren't connected. So for some reason, like they would not, let's just say they broke it the same day. In general, regardless if it's a BYOD or not, we get enrollment files on a daily basis. So we wouldn't even have that customer's information until the next day, but they'll still be able to make the claim. We just have to get the customer's information first, regardless if it's a BYOD or a DCI device that was sent to you, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was just making
Yeah.
sure. It just didn't seem like the question was answered. I was confused.
Oh,
Yeah, if you're not getting it on there during the activation process, you can't add it on later, unfortunately. So take things slowly, make sure you're looking at that step and you're not bypassing it.
Yeah, I get that part.
All right. Any other questions? All right, we'll keep it moving. Jamie, thank you so much for all that information.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. All right, stick with us, guys. We still got more for you here. That was just all for Jamie. She's going to hop off. So she went over and talked about adding the device protection for BYODs, because that's big, right? That's something new for us that we can do. But what we also want to focus on is not just the BYODs, but we need to make sure that we are focusing on device protection on new customers as well. Something that's one of the huge opportunities for us is that unlimited $29 screen repair claims, right? So if anyone is getting a new phone for you, we can kind of use the assumption codes, right? We're going to put device protection on every single phone out there. Tell the customer if it's lost, stolen, destroyed, no matter what happens, you're going to get a new phone shipped to you overnight. And if you happen to have anything happen to your screen, only $29 for that screen repair. So that is pretty cool. That is out there. This is a slide that was out there earlier for you. Just kind of wanted to show you, again, it doesn't matter what tier they're in, that screen damage deductible is going to be $29 across the board. And then those fees can vary between $8 and $12 the majority of time for the majority of the phones that we have. Let's say something very, very high end happens to be over $1,000 SRP. It can jump up a little higher, but typically we're always in that $8 a month or $12 a month price range. So make sure that you guys are bundle selling. That is the key when it comes to your attachables, when it comes to maximizing the sale and getting that perfect sale. You want to be pitching that customer your out the door price that gives you your first month's bill plus your taxes, your setup fee, the device protection, accessories, and of course auto top up, right? So these should be, every customer that's coming in your door should be signed up for auto top up. Every customer should be having device protection. If those things didn't happen, we missed something in part of our sales process, right? I understand that not every customer is necessarily going to say yes right off the bat, but that's our jobs as solutions consultants and sales makers to get them to see the whys on why they need to have device protection and kind of convince them to, yes, they want to purchase this. It is in their best interest, because if anything happens to that phone, lost, stolen, destroyed, that phone is covered. And of course, auto pay we want to have in there because we want to save that customer money and lower that customer's bill. So it is a win for everybody. When you're looking at that bundle sale, let's say we're talking about a $50 rate plan with the $8 Boost Protect. Again, the key here is remember to be able to pitch that customer that out the door price. So if you tell your customer, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, today I can get you outdoor for $118. I can give you your unlimited talk, text, data plus protection. It's going to give you your setup fee and your case. If you're able to speak that language to your customers, that out the door price, you're going to get instant credibility. They're going to look at you as the expert. They're going to want to come back and work with you every single time. If you're sitting there and the customer asks you, what's it going to cost me today? If you say it's $58 per month, and then the bill comes to 118, they're like, I thought you told me it was just 58. And if you're not including those extra attachables, it's harder to make that bill go higher. If you start with that all-in cost of 118, it's easy to go down, but it's hard to go higher, right? When you do that all-in cost of like 118, for this example, you're assuming that accessory sale, they're going to get that accessory every single time. Bring them 3 cases, bring them 3 different colors. Which case do you like the best? The assumption close. Assume you know what your customer's going to want, because this is what you guys do for a living, right? You are the experts that are coming into your store for help. Make sure you are always bundling. If you happen to be selling an iPhone, it has to be on the $60 plan. We're going to bundle this $72 per month charge, but $72 is their monthly cost. Also, you need to know that all-in cost. So for an example, a customer, let's say it was an iPhone that was at $49.99, $35 setup fee, $6 rate plan, $12 bill. Well, we're going to assume $25 for the accessories. You know, your all-in cost is going to be $178 plus tax. You see that the point of this exercise here is just so you guys are aware, know your top selling devices, know your bundle pricing, and put it all together. If you need to make a cheat sheet of the top 5 selling devices and put it on your computers, it gives you, hey, this is my all-in price, so you can easily rattle it off to your customers. Go ahead and do that. No one's stopping you from doing that, guys. It's going to make you look like an expert, going to make you look credible, and customers are going to believe everything that you are telling them. And again, when customers give you objections, never accept that first no. It is our job to overcome those objections. One of the ones we hear the most is it's too expensive. So how can you overcome that? If you're talking about device protection specifically, break it down to the daily cost. If you look at that $8 device protection, if you break it down to a customer saying, oh, you know what, I want to save some money, I don't really want to pay that. Well, you know what? It actually costs you 27 cents per day that covers lost, stolen, destroyed. If anything happens to that screen, you get that screen repaired. For 27 cents a day, I think that is completely worthwhile. Don't you agree? Right? Get that customer to agree with you. Get them to say yes. And when you break it down to that, what that daily cost is, you can find that in your couch cushions, guys. Like, this would be an easy way to make sure their customers are going to sign up. If they give you another objection, I don't have a lot of time to go through the process, I'll just get another phone. You know, just remind them, let your device get protected so you can stay focused on your day-to-day. Let's get you protected with Boost Protect. It's going to cover lost, stolen, destroyed, premium tech support, screen repairs for only $29, and you're going to get Apple Care included as well if those customers happen to be purchasing an iPhone. Additional best practices is don't ask or offer, do you want insurance? Whenever someone says that, do you want insurance? The answer is going to be no. If you change the word you use, the power of words in sales, would you like to have your phone protected? People do want to have their phone protected. They love to have devices protected. They don't want to pay extra for insurance. So use that assumption clause. Advise, recommend, and bundle protection. Unlimited talk, text, and data for $58 a month. Your out the door price today is going to be $174, right? You want to break it down that way to your customers. Always call it device protection. Don't call it insurance. You know, Boost Protect, Apple Care, none of them call it insurance, right? Because people don't want to pay extra for insurance, but they do want to have stuff protected. So again, leverage your words correctly when you're making that sale. And if you can't close auto pay, important that you include that extra $4 when you're giving the potential monthly fee to your customer, but we're going to close auto pay for a majority of our customers, right? Everyone's coming in, you have a debit or credit card, we want to make sure you have auto pay, and we'll cover a little bit more on that in just a moment. And then if you're still getting objections, use your personal experience so you can relate with customers. You know, it's like, oh, no, that's okay. I don't usually break my phones. Hey, I understand that, but you know what? The majority of customers break their phones within 30 days, and you're getting a new phone today. It's going to be a new size and new shape, and that's when these accidents happen most. Let's make sure you are covered today, because you can't add device protection down the road. If it ends up being too much and you want to take it off down the road, just let me know and we can do that for you. But I want to leave my store today knowing that your phone is completely protected, right? Let them know about the savings. Instead of paying $1,000 for this phone, you're paying a small deductible and you can get it replaced if anything happens. Give every customer a brochure. And then if that customer is a hard no, nope, I absolutely am not going to do it, use the opt-out form. Make them put pen to paper saying, hey, I've advised you to get this insurance. I've told you this phone is going to cost you X amount of hundreds of dollars if it breaks. You still don't want the insurance. I just need you to sign this form just so that I know that I've done my job and you know that I've offered it to you and you're still turning it down, right? When you use that opt-out form, it gives that customer that last little moment, like, do I really want to deny this? And do I really want to put my name to paper saying that I didn't accept this? Right? It's these little skills that you can help to close more sales and increase that device protection attach rate, which now we should be able to get on everybody since it is available for BYOD as well. And then Jaime talked a little bit about that Boost Protectors Premium Savers. And she mentioned that this might be coming to the Boost app where customers are going to be able to switch down. That's going to be awesome. I'm definitely going to be asking that at Boost Summit when we're there next month. But for those customers who I just said, hey, let's go ahead and add it to your bill today. If there happens to be an issue down the road, we can always lower it. This is my saver, right? Because I'm not really going to take it off. If a customer comes in and they say, hey, you know what, my bill's too high, can we go ahead and take that device protection off? What I'm going to say is, tell them is, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I'm sorry that is a bit high for your bill. Let's say this is a customer with $12 Boost Protect, right? If we're looking at tier 2 here. Well, you know what I can do is I can drop you down. What if I could drop your Boost Protection down to only $1.75 per month? And that would cover just lost or stolen. So instead of paying $12 for your insurance, I'll still make sure your phone is protected against if it's totally lost or if it's destroyed, so you can get it replaced for that small deductible at only $1.75 a month instead of $12. Does that sound good? They're going to say yes. Oh, you can do that? Yeah, I can do that. It doesn't cover, wouldn't do the other stuff. Won't be able to wipe your phone, won't be able to do screen repairs, but it would cover that loss and stolen. If you want to go down to that plan, we can do that for you. And if they want to, boom, there you go. But remind them, they're also losing AppleCare if they do that. So, that's their option, but at least it's a save where they are still having some kind of protection on that device. So just want to let you know that is there. That only you could drop it down to as low as $1.75 if it's a $12 plan. You could drop it down to as low as $1.50 if it's an $8 plan, or drop it down as low as $2.50 if it's one of those phones that's over $1,000 on that tier 3 $15 plan, right? But still, significant savings to our customers. If this is coming to the Boost app, that's a big win, right? Right now, you have to call into care and have those drop down, just so you are aware on how that works in today's world. Any questions on this before I move forward? All right. And then this is just a picture of that retention form. If you happen to be looking online, if you guys need a copy of this form, just let us know. Boost can get these guys out to you. You should have them all in your stores, but this is just where the customers put their name, their number, you circle that you've offered Boost Protect, you've told them what the deductible is, and they are still saying no. Let them sign it, put it in a little file saying that, hey, they didn't sign up for it, and here's your paperwork, right? So that way, we've done everything we can to making sure we are as close to 100% as possible when it comes to adding Boost Protect. Show them the MSRP versus that deductible. Hopefully, that's a way to get them to sign up, and we can keep that customer. All right. Now, that is all on Boost Protect. Next, let's talk about one of the other Attachables, which is AutoPay. Guys, AutoPay should be like just how our business is in today's world. We should look at every sale should be getting set up with AutoPay because it saves the customers so much money. If you look at your rate plans, all the rate plans are $5 more with AutoPay. Plus, there's the $4 in-store service fee. So essentially, it's $9 extra every single month. That's a huge chunk. If you think about a customer's bill, let's just say it's a $50 customer, $9, that's 18% of the bill that can be saved right there simply by having AutoPay. That's huge. Almost 20% savings on that $50 rate plan if that customer has AutoPay. If a customer has a debit or credit card, this should be an automatic sign up. If you need to create FOMO for them, say, oh, all of our customers sign up for AutoPay right now. It's going to save you $9 a month. You're going to save the $4 in-store service fee plus $5 on your bill. Not to mention the gas driving to and from our store. So if there's another hour out of your day, if you look at those savings over the course of a year, it's like getting a couple months of service for free simply by having your bill paid with AutoPay. In addition to that, AutoPay is so important because it guarantees that that bill is going to be paid for your customers. So when we look at churn, we look at the importance of second month being paid, third month being paid, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and beyond, right? Sales is not a 2 or 3 month game. It's a lifetime value of these customers. We need these customers to stay with us for a long time in order to be profitable, in order to have the awesome promotions on the iPhones. We need to have healthy customers that aren't staying with us for 60 days and then churning off to our competitor. And AutoPay is one of the best tools that helps ensure that those customers stick with Boost. That's why Boost gives them such a discount. That's why they save so much money, because if that customer is going to stay with us in the long run, we're going to help take care of that customer. And that is what AutoPay does. So make sure that every customer comes in your store, if they have a debit or credit card, they are signing up in AutoPay. They're never going to have a missed payment. They're never going to have that $4 in-store service fee, and they're going to get that $5 off of every single line. So when it comes to the sale, which debit or credit card do you want your bill coming out of every month? It's called AutoPay with Boost. It saves you $9 every single month. Easy pitch, easy close. If someone says no to that, then it's like, you got money to burn? Can I get an extra 10? Because if you're going to throw away $10 every single month, can I get a 10, right? It's like, that's a lot of money these customers are saving. We want to make sure every customer is signing up in AutoPay. So some best practices around AutoPay is recognizing and understanding if your customers do have any concerns. If a customer talks about the rate plan being, oh, it's $55 out, your sign says $50. Oh, yeah, no worries. That's actually, that $5 comes off your bill as soon as we enroll you in AutoPay. What card can we use to enroll, right? The $55 is the price of the plan. The advertised offer includes that AutoPay enrollment discount. That's how you can kind of tweak that conversation to your way. Engage in two-way conversation, repeat important observations. So you mentioned you didn't think you're getting that plan that was advertised. For this offer, there's a $5 discount for enrolling in AutoPay. That brings your monthly total to $50. And really, it should never even get to this point in the conversation, if you're qualifying this customer correctly from the beginning, you should already be able to bundle in that sale with auto pay included. And that comes for family plans as well. So when you're advising that complete solution, make sure that you are including auto pay in that. And then transact to complete that positive customer experience with your auto pay savings today. You can add Boost Protect or whatever the case may be, right? It's a leverage tool for Attachables. So if a customer had an issue with Device Protect, right? Let's say that customer said, oh, you know what, $8 extra for device protection, that's kind of high. You can leverage autopay to make that free, right? Oh, $8 device protection. What if I told you I could get that device protection covered for you? Well, how are you going to do that? Well, I'll tell you what, the device protection runs you $8 per month. We'll enroll you in autopay. That saves you $5 off your bill. Plus, it saves you $4 service fee for paying in store. That's $9. Now that covers that cost of your device protection. Sound good? Right? These go hand in hand. And if you have a higher device protection, say go to $12, you can, and the customer says, no, I really don't want it. What if I told you I can get you that $12 device protection and get that down to $3 for you? Well, how can you do that? Well, I can roll you into auto pay. That saves you $5 plus the $4 in-store service fee. So now that's going to save you $9 every single month. So now that $12 really is down to only a $3 cost to have unlimited talk, text, data, plus protection, and screen repairs included on your phone. AutoPay, Boost Protect, they work hand in hand, guys. This is such an easy way to give a positive experience to your customers and transact that complete sale that's going to make them choose Boost for the long haul. BYOD is big, guys. So we talked about the device protection now being able to be added to BYOD. What I really want you guys to focus on is your upgrade customers. This is the sweet spot when it comes to BYOD. Every upgrade customer is a BYOD opportunity. If you're upgrading that customer's phone, ask them, is there anything not working with your old phone? Oh, no, everything works fine on it. You know what? That's great. We have an awesome add-a-line opportunity for you right now where you can upgrade your phone and get the new phone you want. But then with this old phone, is there anyone in your family who might need a line of service? We can do an add-a-line and you can keep that old phone, right? So turn every upgrade opportunity into a BYOD opportunity. Don't let those old phones collect dust. So when that customer comes in and they want to upgrade, ask them, what do you usually do with your old phone after your upgrade? Look at their phone. Your device is still in great shape. Have you thought about how it could still be useful? And then the key, who else in your household could benefit from having a Boost line? Sell the idea to your customers. Turn their old phone into a new line, save money, and give someone they care about a better Boost experience. And then you can tie the idea back to the situation. Your old phone could be the perfect fit for the first phone for your child. You can add a line today to get them connected without the cost of buying a new device. And also just inform them. Do you know you can activate your old phone? It's a quick way to give another family member or friend their own Boost line without buying a new device. So upgrade and add a line. These should go in hand every single time. If you are upgrading a customer, ask them to look at that new phone. Get it in your hands. Take a look at it. Is it in good shape? Hey, this phone's in pretty good shape. We can upgrade you and get you your new iPhone today, but this phone's still working pretty good. Is there anyone in your family who might need to add a line? Because we can actually add a line for extremely cheap, and you can keep this same phone, and you can have another line of service for anyone in your family who might need an additional line. Sales is a numbers game, guys. It's all about pitching every single customer every single time. You might get 8 no's out of 10. But guess what? That's 2 yeses. That's 2 more sales you wouldn't have got if you were doing business the old way. It's super important you are leveraging BYOD. Boost has a lot of focus on BYOD. If you haven't noticed, BYOD training, device protection coming to BYOD. Us talking to you about it to you guys now. Boost has a lot of focus on BYOD because it is so profitable for the brand. That's what helps fund promotions. If Boost can run $50 unlimited, add more data, great iPhone promotions, they need to have customers that stick with us for the long run and don't lose out money on handset subsidies. What's the easiest way not to have a handset subsidy? BYOD, right? So BYOD is a crucial part of our business and it will continue to be so in the future. So we want to make sure that you guys are maximizing your upgrade opportunities and using that old phone as an add-a-line. And then advise your customer, why let the old phone sit unused when you can save money and give it to someone else who needs a great Boost experience? Let's get you upgraded and fully protected on your new device and give your old phone a fresh start with a new case and its own Boost line. Your new phone gives you the upgrade you deserve, and your old phone becomes the perfect first device for your kids, set up with a new case and its own Boost line for gaming, streaming, and staying connected. So give that, advise the best solution to your customer, and of course, close. Now, last thing, I know we're a little bit over, and this is on Attachables, but I did just want to give a quick reminder about doing things the right way. Make sure that you guys are always operating with integrity. If there's any kind of fraudulent behavior, any time of skirting the rules or getting around the systems for Boost, Boost will eventually catch on to those things, and don't want anyone's dealership to be threatened or have anything happen to you guys if you are doing any kind of gaming. So just basically do things the right way, operate with integrity. Just wanted to give that quick little PSA on this. Make sure that you guys are pricing correctly, you are using the right SKUs, and don't have Boost come after you for doing anything that is fraudulent, right? So Boost is monitoring stores who show a higher than normal percentage of customers who both replenish their accounts in store and receive auto top up on the same accounts. So if you guys are doing auto top up, you should not be using the same debit or credit card for everyone's auto top up. Those need to be legit cards for customers. So if you're doing that today, stop immediately. Hopefully none of you guys are. Make sure you're doing business the right way. And then review your auto top-up enrollment if needed and in-store replenishment practices, and confirm your team is operating in compliance with Dish and Boost Mobile policies. Again, just kind of a PSA. Want to make sure that you guys are all doing business the right way and making that cash money the right way. So that is it, guys. That is all I have for today. I know we're a couple minutes over. I will open it up. Are there any questions at this time on anything that we covered today?
Nothing in the chat.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on. Have a great week. Happy selling. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.